Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Prep Your Standard NATO. Today's guests are Claire and Mike from Peak One Boxing. Thank you so much for letting me come out and hang out in your club this morning.
Yep, thanks for coming.
Alright, so you guys are ex-military and emergency services, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what was what and who did what?
So I'm the ex-British Army and Claire's ex-British Police and WA Police.
Great. So how long were you in those for?
So I joined the Army when I was 16 and left when I was 24, coming up 25, so I did 8.5 years in the Army. How long were you in the police for? Claire?
Oh, I joined the cops then when I was 18. I think I was interviewed at 17 actually. Got in when I was 18 and served just under 15 years in the police service in the UK and in Western Australia.
So what brought you guys out to Australia?
A friend of mine was living in Perth, ex-Army as well, and he just said it's a great place to live, come and have a look. We were both in pretty good jobs, but we thought, let's go on a trip, like it was our honeymoon. So we had this trial finders honeymoon thing.
Yeah.
So we were doing a bit of a round the world thing, so we'll come to Perth for Christmas, and then fly across to the east coast via Uluru, or Ayers Rock we knew at the time, now we're a bit more educated, to Cairns, and then Barrier Reef, drive down the east coast to Sydney, fly across to Los Angeles, try and get me a movie role. That never worked out. And then we flew back to the UK, and we're like, let's go.
We were sold, weren't
let's
we?
go and
We
live in
loved it.
Australia.
We literally 6 months, we sold everything and we were back in Perth
Wow.
looking for a house, We just got back and told our families, didn't we, that we're going.
Yeah, and it's just sort of developed from there, like 12 years now. Bit of a working holiday.
Yeah.
Met a few locals. And it's just...
Friends as family, I suppose. We're the only ones here, aren't we? So
It's a pretty easy place to live if you're prepared to work,
Yeah.
Like, you only get what you put in
Yeah.
and stuff, which we quite like. Yeah, and boxing, I've always been around anyway, so...
You boxed in the army.
Yeah, so I played around with boxing before I joined the Army, about 14 years old. And then when I was 16, joined an Army apprentice college, which is pretty heavy on the sport. So if you're good at a sport, you get out of room inspections, which is quite good. So
and guard duty.
And guard duty as well, so I excelled quite well at the sport, about blow my own trumpet, and got my college colours and represented the junior army team against the Navy, so that was like a pinnacle of that 2 years of training. But we trained 6 days a week. We used to get pretty hard training, an old school gym. When you first join, you're fighting against your seniors, so they're the ones that are there for this 2-year period at the college.
Yeah.
So the seniors have been there, they've been boxing, so you're like the new fresh meat in the gym, and you have to learn your way around. So it's a very, it gave me a good base for my boxing.
Yep.
And then I continued boxing after I got into the Airborne Forces, in between operational tours, continued boxing then as well, minor units and regimental championships and stuff. So.
And now you're in a gym.
And then I went into coaching. So when I left the Army at 24, I still dabbled. I had a pro coach for a little while, but never continued. Just work got in the way, and Civvy Street.
Yep.
You have to work for a living.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then I've always been around coaching, and then came to Australia on the mine sites really, and actually this guy here. So I got a job working on a mine site, running the gyms. Because I was ex-PTI from the forces as well. So we used to do some pads. Let me feel. We used to do some pads. We did.
The silent.
Yeah, he's in the podcast.
Filthy.
And we just trained, got a little group of us going. I used to run classes there. Always been around the coach. I had my British ABA coaching thing as well. And then we saw the boxing WA scene, and we got involved, got on the level 1 coaches courses, and started putting in a couple of fighters first of all, just to get our feet wet.
Yeah.
And then I think when we moved up north in 2011, we became residential in a mining town. We decided to do a not-for-profit gym up there to get some programs going for the kids as well.
Yeah.
They're the disadvantaged shitbags up there as well. It's just there,
Some development workshops, we'll call them.
Yeah, okay.
For the community.
And then brought some people through from grassroots all the way through to national titles. So
Nice.
yeah, they don't always get the opportunity up there because it's about opportunity. You can be as good as you want at a sport, but if you don't get the right people looking at you, you're not going to get the opportunity. So yeah, we had some good success. We had some novice state champions, and one youth national as well. And then we kept that going for sort of 6.5 years. And Millie was our oldest daughter. She's getting to high school age. We decided it was time to move back to Perth. We'd spent longer in the Pilbara.
Yeah.
So we needed to learn how to speak again and write. So we came back down to Perth, finally got our son wearing shoes again. He doesn't like wearing shoes.
He's a Pilbara boy, yeah.
And so we opened up this place. Decided to run it as a business now. Down on that sort of veteran spin on it as well.
Yeah.
So supporting all the ex-veterans, ex-emergency services people as well. And just a place people can come along, but run it as a traditional boxing club, as you can see.
Yeah.
And serving as well. We've got a few that are currently still fireys, police, ambos, nurses. We've got a few that are now members, haven't we?
Yeah.
And
Our old following as well. So
yeah, plus people that were FIFO from Perth up to Wickham are now back to us in Perth. So they're all, yeah, we're in Perth.
That's a great sign.
And yeah, when our Wickham guys, they come down to visit families, if they drop in. So yeah, the love has been spread wide now.
Yeah.
Plus, of course, we've got probably 90% of people are civilian, to be honest, you know, the membership's probably 75% of it. Just seems to, that military style of training seems to appeal to people because then the expectation's very clear when they come in the gym of how we train, and it's clearly defined. You know, the programs or the sessions are planned. We explain, we demonstrate. Yeah, there's structure to it from our backgrounds, I suppose, and we're both trainers as well in our roles within those services. So yeah, I guess that appeals to people, I think, because sometimes fitness isn't as clear as it could be for people, or it can be, they feel it's too complicated, it's too hard, so you just explain and demonstrate, and people get it, don't they? It's quite instantly gratifying, boxing. Within a few minutes people have learned to correctly throw a punch, and the whole session goes much better.
Going back to our club up north, is still functioning up there. So we donated all our stuff, all our equipment to a local of my fighters. One's Noongar, Indigenous lad, and one's Black South African. So they've taken it on, and they've just changed the name. So I think it's Injibani, is it the name?
No, Nullama.
Nullama.
It's a Nullama name. So the local community named it. The elders were consulted about what it should be called, because we have a Yinjibanji woman who I mentored. She's from Roban, so she's got her fitness qualifications. So she also coaches there and takes a ladies only class, which appeals locally to Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. And then they consulted. The Nullama is actually where the land that the club is on, so they named it Jerdamunda,
which means pinnacle, which goes with peak.
With the peak,
One,
they kept it.
So just rebranded, we kept it there. So we support them. They come down. So they can obviously use the space and stuff. But
fantastic.
Kept that sort of going.
That's a good time.
What are you doing, Jake?
That's Bubba in the background.
Yeah. Hey, Bubs. Yeah, so it's been nice to leave something behind and know that they've actually taken it to a whole new level, haven't they? They've got some really interesting workshops going on with the kids, and they've actually increased some of the following by running locally. So yeah, it's great to know there's still boxing going on in town that they're representing, and that there's boxing is accessible still up in the Pilbara, up in that part of the Pilbara. But yeah, but now we're here in Butler, so it's the same model. We're not doing anything different, really. We're still as passionate. It's a genuine enjoyment of the sport, so it's easy to run.
I think we've just got a better platform now, haven't
Yeah, the facility's lovely, so we're very lucky. We literally were training out of a shoebox size
And
venue.
travel was the challenge as well. It's
Yep.
like, you know, it can be up to $1,000 each way
Financially,
just to
it's
come
huge.
down for one fight, and then you've got to find accommodation.
Yeah, fair enough.
Whereas
So-
now we're in Perth, it's just up the road, you know.
So now we're
it's easy.
building that new fight team, looking for fighters. We've
You
got
guys.
Yeah, so Brad, he'll be in the novice championships. He's the ex-Royal Marine Commando.
Yep.
So he'll be fighting in March.
So he
That'll be
coaches
the
here as
first one.
well, and obviously he's a PTI.
What prison is he at?
He's in the prison service, and so he does physical training with the prisoners and boxing. Because despite the stigma that boxing has, we have it from schools as well. We'll approach schools to do workshops, and there's that kind of misconception that if you teach the kids or you teach the prisoners to box, that they're then going to use that new learned skill to attack or defend them. You know what?
Yeah.
It actually, basically could increase violence, perhaps, but it actually tends to have the opposite effect. The positive outcomes from it are more discipline, more respect. There's an incentive when we were doing kids workshops to go to school, because the reward was the boxing workshop. The same with the prisoners, that physical activity time. So it actually tends to have the opposite effect, which is really good. And even in our kids' classes, we have parents bringing young people in, juniors and youth, saying, sort my kid out, you know, and then we're like, I don't think they mean physically, we don't sort the kids out, but, you know, they're teaching them that discipline, listening, and then assimilating what we're asking them to do, working with other people, respecting themselves, respecting the other people in the class, respecting the coach. We get some great results. You know, it doesn't take very long, and as long as they're enjoying it, you've got to make it fun as well. But so yeah, it has lots of rewards for all ages, really, up to, you know, we've got quite senior people that come to our boxing, and it's, you know, being 60 or even 70 it's not a limitation at all with boxing. You know, people
Actually, Masters is actually taken off now
Yeah.
as its own entity.
Yeah.
Masters boxing.
It's huge, especially in Australia, isn't it? Huge now, big Masters scene of people competing, like never competed as pre-Masters, below 40, and after 40 they found boxing. So yeah, that's a new spin on boxing for Australia for sure. And our other coach is Dan. He's a firefighter, current and ex-London Fire Brigade, but been over in New York boxing in his past, and now he coaches with us, doesn't he? We're all very similar style. I've only ever boxed as a novice and boxed and coached in Australia, so but I've learnt my craft really off of Mick. So we're all very British style in terms of our boxing coaching,
Yeah.
which tends to be going forward. There's no
That military
counter-punching
sort
or,
of-
you know, it's that
Do the basics well.
be
And be
first.
fit.
Yeah, be fit, be first, be busy. So fitness tends to prevail, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Certainly in amateur sport, amateur boxing. So that's a guarantee. That's a given. If you're a peak one, if you're training at peak one, you tend to. That's going to be a given that
fit.
you're fit. Yeah. So we find that everyone comes in, and even if they come in as a beginner with very little fitness, they're working as hard, for example, as the elite boxers stood next to them on the bag next to them, because we all train together. There's no elitism. We all train together. We all train as if we're boxing for that next match. So yeah, it doesn't matter how fit you are. Everyone's working as hard.
Because if you structure your classes around timings and not reps,
Yeah.
you're always going to work to your capacity, because even if you hit the bag twice in 30 seconds or you hit it 30 times, you're working it within your own capability.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do reps, you get the fit people waiting for the not so fit people, and it's pretty disheartening if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
And then we mix up the fighters, like Phil's quite experienced coaching as well, with not so, people that have just walked in off the streets. You don't get put, like you walk in with your friend and you're like, oh, we've never been boxing before, and then you're on your own in the corner.
Yeah.
They're mixed straight in with the elites, and they teach them some stuff as well while they're going through the set format that we run.
Yeah, there's definitely an expectation. I suppose that's traditional in boxing, that if the more senior or the more experienced help than you, and because everyone was there once. Everyone needs to be reminded they were there once.
Because the old UK style was, you go to a club, they put a timer on, you jump on a punch bag, 3 2-minute rounds. If you're good, you're good, and if you're not, you might get the coach wander past you a couple of times and tell you to keep your hands up. Mm-hmm. So we structure it as in they will work on certain things on that bag. It's explanation, demonstration, practice, just like the forces. And then we go around and check technique. So you're going to learn when you come in. It's not just aimlessly hitting something. Oh, am I good or not? I don't know. So
it's a coach session. There's hands-on coaching all the time.
So it's very military like that. It's structured. So like the board behind you there, the blackboard, it's written up. That's what you work through. So there's an end game as well. Yep. Because when you're hanging out your ass, you're like, oh, when's this finishing? So
I'm probably doing that anyway. But
people checking the board. Is he adding around there, or is it like
watching the
one more, actually 3 more.
Yeah. Oh well, there's always that. There's always that signal from these guys. There's always. I forgot to mention. There's abs now,
or the clock's on. You get the clock watches. So it's all these. I have to throw in all these old army terms. When I was PTI, people love it.
Yeah, the extra round, the sickner, isn't it called the sickner?
Yeah. So now we're just trying to build a sort of a membership up. So now the Christmas and New Year's out the way, people are trickling in.
Yep.
Which is good.
Yeah, the New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I think we just want it to be sustainable.
Yep.
I think with the boxing club, more than your 24/7 gyms, without naming them specifically, you join and then no one, perhaps. Not everyone, not all gyms, but don't really care if you stay, don't really care if you turn up. Yeah. Your direct debit's going out, and that's the end of it. The outcome isn't always as important. The joining up is, and then, whereas we want the classes, we want people here, we want everyone engaged and getting what they're paying for, getting out what they've come for. So that's, I'm like, when are you in next? As they leave, are you here tomorrow? Good. Okay, I'll see you then. I'll see you. We're making them accountable.
Yeah.
So that's we don't want empty classes. We want people here getting the most out of the facilities and the coaching.
You do seem to have a little community here. I walked in and there's people sitting around having a coffee after their sessions, and you don't get that at a gym.
No.
We don't charge for the coffee either.
Yeah, no. That's the coffee catch-ups afterwards. They're always the coffee machine goes on, and if people want to hang out and
I think sometimes some commercial gyms end up on a sausage machine. Like you're in, do the class, right, out, next in. So trying to get away from that a little bit, so people can hang out and actually talk to each other, not just while they're in between combinations. So you can build a bit of a community in that respect, and just somewhere for people. We were talking about it earlier on about like-minded people. Ex-military people don't like talking to basic civilian people if we're making a line, but they like talking to ex-military because you have a little bit in common, and you can share stuff and people open up slightly, and it's really good, like a debrief, as well for people. Right, so
there's a real range of people, but a lot going through similar situations, and they feel comfortable sharing, I suppose, when they're surrounded by people that aren't going to be judgmental, or perhaps have been in a similar conflict or on a similar tour, or through whatever the journey is.
And then we also spoke about FIFO, as Phil knows FIFO as long as I have, There's a lot of mental health issues with people being away from their homes, get lonely, something's gone wrong at home, they come back to site, they're very isolated, and sometimes it just gets too much for them. So that's why we sort of support that FIFO community as well, because it seems to be a lot of mental health issues going on.
So how do you think that reflects in the gym? How does the gym and working out and the boxing help people with mental health issues?
I think it gives a little bit of purpose and structure and a routine. So it does get you out to train. You're not just sitting in your own. It's the same on site, isn't it? So we get people in the gym boxing there, instead of going to the bar, come to the healthier part. And I don't know what it is. It's just if you do something hard, it creates a bond. Yeah. Even if it's just you don't have to be under fire. Just be in the gym, doing a hard session, you're like, holy, that was hard. But you've got that bond then, because you both did it. Oh, I remember that session last week, that was really hard.
Well,
and
I'm
you've
really
created,
sore from that, or,
you've created that bond straight away,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And I think also just that the natural endorphins that you get from exercise combat those mental health issues so much for people that are, you know, with anxiety or a depression related condition. That's exercise is one of those things that they recommend. They, you know, medical.
We've got one
people.
particular member, I won't mention names, but he came here, runs a very successful business, and just wanted to train on his own. He don't like group training.
Yeah.
He'll just come in and hit the bag like this is the time of day with open gym session. And now he's like a face of all the classes, you know, so loves it. But he started off, oh no, I don't want to do group training, don't want to do personal training, I'm happy just hitting the bag.
Yep.
It's good for my the stress, I suppose. And
I think he just wanted to be in a positive environment.
Yeah, and now he's
like,
you know,
now
bought the t-shirt. He's in the mix. He's one of the, you know, he's a face, and he's, you know, quite bubbly and a nice guy, you know.
Yeah. I think I mentioned before, we've had so many people share their stories of addiction, attempts at suicide, depression, family suicide. That ripple effect that they talk about, that they're now grieving through. You know, we're a real melting pot of people we're no counsellors, but we're giving them the physical element to their recovery from whatever they're going through. And multiple people have said how they're off the medication now, whatever that was that they were on, but that, I don't have to take as much now. I'm not feeling as anxious now. I'm sleeping better. I'm making better choices, food choices. I'm not drinking as much because I know I want to come training. So there's been the knock-on effect of people just coming in and committing.
And I think attaching ourselves, Jason's helped out with like the Sirens of Silence and Soldier On, and obviously RSL. We've got maybe get that referral system that we're not experts at, you know.
Yeah.
But if someone's really struggling, we've got another support network that we can use.
It's been great to link in, and they're our chosen charities now, and we can put the services people to the right places, their families, because I know that they support not just serving and ex-serving personnel, but also their families. So that's a bridge. Like, where do people go if they're not getting support from GP services or something?
But also just for us as a business, new in Perth really, to have a support network like we were talking about earlier on, for the veterans-owned businesses, to go to maybe in the future go to seminars where someone else is thinking about starting a business and we can share information, or someone's really good at the marketing side of it and they can give us some help. So it's about supporting each other. Like there's a big community now around the whole world. That's why we fly with the flags, you know, to try and help each other out, because you're better off being your own boss sometimes, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're in charge of your own destiny, aren't you? A little bit more.
Well, I mean, the club looks great, guys, and it's great to hear all the work you're doing. So if people want to get involved, where can they find you?
The best social media seems to be our biggest connection with people. So we have a Facebook page, Peak One Boxing Club. We have an Instagram, the same profiles there, and we post daily things that we're doing, and upcoming fundraisers are on there. Our pricing's on there. We're not one of those gyms that private message us and we'll tell you what it costs. It's all up front. It's all very transparent. We do the discounts for ex-services, emergency department staff, nursing, whatever. So FIFO we do, so that people, especially for FIFO, they're only paying when they're here. You know, a lot of gyms don't do that. So we're just trying to make it accessible for all people, so they can find us there and just keep up to date with club news there. Otherwise, it's you can rock up. We're here in the mornings and we're here in the evenings, and with a real open door policy. Come in, have a look at the place, have a chat, message us, or we've got peak1boxingclub@gmail.com, which people can send a private email to.
Great. Thank you so much for having a quick chat with me today, guys.
Thank you so much.
Nice for your visit.
This podcast was edited, published and produced by the RSLWA.
head to www.rslwa.org.au for other content. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.